Flick Chicks podcast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Horror Flick Chicks back for another episode of the Horror Flick Chicks podcast. What's up, girls?
What's up?
Oh,
Hi. All right, so if you've been following, you know that we are recapping Only Murders in the Building, season 3. And this week's episode is going to be about episode 8, entitled Sitz Probe. And I guess if you're not in like the theater, you probably don't know what a sitz probe is because I had no idea what a sitz probe is. So I looked it up so we can have a good definition of it. So it is German for seated rehearsal.
Oh,
And in opera and musical theater, a Sitzprobe is a rehearsal where the singers sing with the orchestra, focusing attention on integrating the two groups. It is often the first rehearsal where the orchestra and singers rehearse together.
oh, nice. Okay.
So, if you've been watching the show, you know that Oliver is making his musical uh, death rattle.
Death rattle,
So,
let's go.
so
Also, I just want to say that the theater that they are supposed to be doing their musical in is actually located uptown. It's called the United Palace Theater. It's
Oh,
located.
is that United
was that the
Palace?
United
Yes, that's United Palace.
Oh,
Beautiful.
that's cool. Yeah.
So super New York, a nice spotlight uptown. I guess you would call that, Washington Heights, but it's a beautiful theater that's been
Nice. Oh, I didn't realize that.
time. Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, they're gonna do this sitz probe, so everybody's gonna rehearse with the live orchestra. And I love this episode. This was like a fantastic episode, by the way, not just because of what some new info we found out, which is
Yeah.
really, really
Juicy.
good.
This was a juicy episode.
Yeah, it was. It
This
really
is pretty
was.
juicy. Yeah.
But I liked how the whole episode flowed while they were in rehearsals and stuff was still going on around it, like behind the scenes and stuff. So it's pretty, and it kind of all meshed in together. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the episode opened up with Loretta. We haven't seen Loretta, definitely not last episode.
We
I
didn't
don't
see her
remember
last episode.
Yeah, I don't remember if she was in the one before. I think she was in the one before.
Yeah.
But so it feels like it's been a little while since we've seen her. So it opens up with her kind of going back at to how she grew up and how she became
Actress.
an actress working in the theater, right?
Yeah.
So apparently she was very big in high school and liked to do musicals and plays, and she entered all the plays and everything. And her thoughts was after school, when she graduated, she was gonna go to Broadway, and she was gonna make a career and be an actress, be a Broadway actress and everything. But she ended up getting pregnant, and she had a baby, and she had to decide if she was gonna be a mom or she wanted to pursue her career. And she decided to pursue her career. So she gave up her baby for adoption to this couple who couldn't conceive and couldn't have their own baby. And she figured,
Now I just want to ask something. Once this was revealed, did you gasp like
yes,
I did?
Yeah.
Because I gasped. I was literally like, oh my God.
yes,
It makes so much
it
sense.
does.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything is starting to tie together. Like certain things are starting to tie together. So we see that she gave up her baby and she went on the bus and she went to pursue her dream and everything. And she said that she would get like uh like uh the parents would give her like updates on the baby every once in a while. I don't know how long that went on, but she found out that I guess a couple years after she gave her baby up for adoption, that family had another kid. They had a kid on their own.
Yeah.
And if you remember last week, we found out that Dickie, who's Ben's brother, older brother, he said he was adopted, and then his parents afterwards had Ben on their own, so that Ben became like, you know, the favorite
Kind of like
kid,
the favorite,
and
yeah.
yeah, and Dickie was always in his shadow, and even when they grew up and Ben became famous, Dickie was his like assistant, basically did everything he did, messed up all the shit, the fucked up shit that he did. He was always there to clean up his messes and stuff like that. So yeah, Loretta is Dickie's mom,
Birth mother.
mother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she knew this all along, coming into the play and everything, because she's
That was her
been
whole plan. She's been following them and following and Ben too, what they're
right.
doing and where they were and everything. And obviously her whole dream was to be star in a show. And she saw this opportunity and she took it.
Yep.
And she went for it. And yeah, she's in the play because she knew Dickie part of the play. Damn.
Her son, who
Crazy.
she wanted to eventually reveal her, her
Who she
who
is,
she was to him.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so we find out that this was like the very
That was
opening of
wow.
the
That's only before the credits.
yes, that was like very
So
before the episode even started.
Dun.
That's it all came out. So then after the episode actually started, everybody was in on the sitz probe and rehearsing and everything, and then I meant to look it up, but I don't know if you guys looked up the name of the detective.
Detective Williams.
All right, so she was in the second season, and she helped the crew arrest Poppy, who was the killer in the second season. She was in the season quite a bit.
Yeah.
So after last episode, when another detective heard Mabel's podcast about that they were investigating Ben's murder, they opened up the case and she was put on the case. She was hilarious.
Yeah.
She's
So
so
funny.
funny.
Yeah. So she shows up and she's like, nobody leave. One of you is the murderer. And she's like, oh, I've always wanted to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they let the other guy go, the one that they had
Yeah. That's
they
like
had in
stalker
jail,
guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
for killing Ben. They let him go because I guess they investigated, and with the help, I guess, of Mabel's podcast,
Right.
he's not the killer. So now they're looking for it. So they came and she's there saying that somebody in this play killed Ben, and I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
So she's basically there to just take everybody, come downtown with me. And
Yeah.
Oliver's like, no.
So let's just also mention that, like, during the rehearsal, so not only does this Detective Williams show up, but Mabel shows up as well. And now we
Yeah.
know that Mabel has already done like one of her own podcasts without Charlie and Oliver. And so she shows up at the rehearsal, and Charlie and Oliver are just like, excuse us, but did you just seriously like record this podcast without us?
Yeah.
And Mabel is just kind of like, well, yeah, I have a lot of clues that's going to help us now, and blah blah blah. And Oliver is just like, well, you know what, forget it, because Dickie did it.
Yeah, he's not in the play. He did it.
He did it.
He was fine with that.
And he's just like, he has all the motives. So Oliver is just kind of like love struck and really wants to put the blame on Love Struck, and also Love Struck with his own play. And
with the play too, yeah.
He
doesn't
really
want anything to disturb this play from like happening and becoming.
He just really wants to get a move on.
Yeah, especially since the critic was there. The play Broadway critic was there, and she saw part of the sitz probe, and she was like, this actually, looks pretty decent, and you have to wait for my review, but I'm kind of liking it. So he has this like excitement about it, and he doesn't want anything to mess it up. So he can't have this lady here and, interrogating everyone, and he definitely can't have anyone that's part of this, actor who's part of this show be the killer.
Yeah, right, because it's just gonna ruin the whole thing.
Yeah. But I like how Charles, they all know that they have to sit in on these interrogations because they have to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And who's maybe spills something, says something,
Right.
And I love it, the whole Charles and Oliver trying to
sneak into the interrogation room.
Yeah, they were trying to be weird and sneaky and kind of corny, trying to sneak in and everything. Meanwhile, Detective Williams like, get the fuck out of here, and and stuff. So that was kind of cool. And
the other interesting person who was at the rehearsal, who the producers were like, why is she here, is Maxine, the critic.
Right.
Yeah.
And Oliver,
they don't usually sit in on those
of
things.
Of course not. And Oliver was just like, look, well, they actually do for like maybe like a preview, because that's
I don't know. That's what they said there. I have no idea.
That's usually, as we know, we do a lot of reviews. So usually you get a preview of the movie. So Maxine, who's the critic, gets a preview of the play. And he really wanted to know what she thought before it actually opens, so that he can sort of like adjust things. So we see like, everybody getting text messages that the suspect was released. So now, the detective is doing all the work. Charlie and, like you said, is Oliver are just kind of disrupting her as much as they possibly can to sort of like kind of wean in there and see what's going on to get their own information.
I like how they're doing all that, and then later they're talking to Mabel, and they tell her, we got all the interrogations on tape, and she's like, what?
Yeah.
And then they go through this whole thing. That whole thing was planned. I was like, oh, I didn't even see that.
Very clever.
I kind of did, because it was ridiculous. Charlie
was
was like laying down on the sofa with a weighted blanket, and he was like, I don't know, I'm falling asleep right now, I can't get up.
But they're ridiculous with some of the things they do.
Yeah, so that was cool. And then Oliver and Charles planned that whole thing to go in, and he was going to be the quirky one and do something, and then
to get her out of the room so they can go in. They planted the camera, and they were actually Tobert's GoPro. They put it in there.
I just love this is the kind of old school humor that we still need.
Yeah,
it's like you don't even need curse words, sex, or anything. I mean, I'm not a prude, but I'm just saying that this is the old school humor that we still need. It's like it's still slapstick, and you're like,
and they still do have curse words and sexual situations in it. So they're tying in. I don't want to say modern, because that's been around for a long time, but you know what I mean. Yeah, it's not that whole slapstick era. It didn't really have that. No. So it's still tying in, kind of,
they put all that together very well.
Yeah. But it's not too much.
No,
right?
No.
It's just enough. And with their own humor, they can kind of ride this whole show. They don't need extra, but they throw, but it's cool. It's good, because we are in the modern time, right? It's not like
and speaking of which, modern times, so Loretta texts Oliver during this, during the rehearsals or post rehearsals, and says, meet me here or whatever. So he goes to see her, and Loretta says, you took something, didn't you?
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, I did.
Yeah.
He's like, I shouldn't have, but I did. And he's like, you don't need to tell me anything. And he gives her back the scrapbook. And Loretta is just like, thank you. And she just kind of turns around like, I'm not gonna, great, thanks. And Oliver's like, actually, that was really like a way for me to say, you don't have to tell me anything, but you have to tell me something.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we see that sort of exchange, and you know, Oliver kind of like tells her, like, you know, Mabel thinks that it's Dickie. Mabel thinks Mabel's always right. And Mabel thinks it's Dickie. So now Loretta has this in her head that people are after her son, her birth son.
Right.
Yeah. So at some point we see, like, you know, the obvious, I have two mothers here, maternal instincts to sort of protect your child, right? By any means necessary. And we see that also with the producer, who is like talking to Loretta and is like, you know, I would do anything to make this play a success because my son is creating it.
My son is
This
very
is his
invested
first
in this
time.
play, and I'll do anything to help him get this to happen.
And you know, mothers will do anything. So it's very true. Mothers will do anything.
And let's not gloss past the fact that Oliver told Loretta that he loved her.
Yes.
I feel bad.
And now she's taking advantage of it because she's like,
I feel bad for him because I feel like even though it's maybe not Loretta, I feel bad because I don't think this whole thing is gonna work out. So, you know, and I really do think that he loves her. You know, so I think it's gonna
for sure. He wouldn't have gone to all these lengths. To protect her. If he didn't care for her to some extent.
Agreed. So yeah, they're this whole thing, she finds out that Mabel's kind of, you know, has Dickie as the top suspect, and she goes to talk to her. And she asking her, like, you know, basically she's saying, I want to help. You know, this is a big dream of mine. You know, it's gonna be ruined basically if something happens. So I want to help out and try to figure things out with you guys. So she tells her, like, you know, that she's looking at Dickie, and then Loretta's kind of casually trying to sway her away from him. And, you know, I mean, we know what the reason, right? What's going on, but Mabel is still at this point.
I don't know if she's sure. I don't know if she really realizes what she's trying to do.
No, that's what I'm saying. At that point, I don't think she's still kind of she's just talking, and
she's just talking, right?
Trying to, you know, still figure things out herself, you know. So, but
Loretta just kind of like starts to chat with her for a bit, and she's like, so you know, trying to sway Mabel and telling her, so, you know, these are the facts. The facts are that he was poisoned, and only a woman, Loretta says, only a woman to try to like sway her from, you know, Dickie. Right. She says only a woman would. That's only a woman's.
That's
way.
like a woman. Usually, that's like a woman's motive. Like she or not
a
motive.
Way to kill with using poison.
And somebody, right?
So yeah,
then she's like trying to like sway her into other people, and she's like, you know, this one, and she's like, I thought you just said it was a woman. So she's all over the place. And Loretta's just like, oh, Katie, it's Katie. Katie is so strange, isn't she? Yeah. So she's really just trying to sway, you know, her to get Dickie off the sus list. I don't think it's really working.
No, it's not.
No, because so then, you know, it's Loretta's turn to do her part of the play of the show. And she's up on the stage, you know, reading her lines, singing her song, etc. And Charles and Mabel in the audience, right by her bag. You know,
Loretta leaves her bag near them.
You know, sneakingly trying to look through her bag and get stuff, and they take the scrapbook that she had that Oliver gave her back, so they take it, and then. But because in the beginning of the movie, or earlier in the show, Loretta wrote a letter.
Yes.
Dickie, right? To Dickie. Yes, to Dickie. And she had it in her bag.
Yeah.
They
And
took
Dickie tells her, listen, they're pulling me to question me. So I probably, Loretta had offered to have dinner with him. She's like, it would be great if we could have dinner. And I wrote you something, and if you would read it, and then if we can talk about it at dinner, that would be great. So she wrote Dickie, her son, a letter, probably telling him that she's his mother.
Right.
And so at that time, at that point, Dickie tells her, look, they're questioning me. I don't know what for, it probably isn't good. Clearly hasn't read the letter yet.
No.
Yeah.
She still has it in her bag.
She still had it.
Charles and Mabel, when they take out the scrapbook, Charles takes out the letter, and he opens it and looks, and you could tell in his face, like, oh my God, like this is something here. Mabel reads it, and then they figure out, this scrapbook is not pictures of Ben, it's pictures of Dickie.
He's just in the background.
He's always behind Ben, so it looks like Ben pictures, but it's not.
This is all going on while Loretta's trying to do her song for the end of the show.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And she keeps looking, and the song is in the play. She's the nanny of these killer kids. And she's trying to protect them, and she's singing a song to her kids basically, and she keeps looking at Dickie when she's singing this song. And while she's doing that, she sees the detective with a couple cops coming in, and they go up to Dickie and they start talking to him, and they basically telling him, "Come with us." And when she sees this, they're trying to take him, and she says, "Stop, stop, 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 stop." And she's like, "I did it. I killed Ben." And everyone's gasping. I did it. I put the poison in his drink.
And Oliver is just like, stop doing this. Stop it now.
Protein drink. And when that didn't work, and he showed up at the party, I pushed him down the elevator shaft. It's like, I did it. So they go up to try and arrest her. Oliver is just like, no, what are you doing? No. And then Oliver, remember, like 2 episodes ago, he had a very mild heart attack, and he was told he has to take it easy because the next time might not be as easy. And he started having pain, and he fell over, and that's where it ended.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's gonna happen to Oliver, and now Loretta's being arrested.
Yeah.
And we don't know if she's really the murderer. She technically still could be, because she's still on my list as a suspect.
I mean, it could also be Toblerone. So Toblerone is the nickname that Charlie has for Tolbert. So in the beginning of this episode, Charlie reveals that, like, I just call him Toblerone because
he told Mabel something. I thought
was hilarious.
Did you go to Candyland or something with Toblerone or something? So that's my nickname for Tolbert.
That's something we would do, by the way, the three of us. We just so everybody knows here, we probably have a nickname for you.
Maybe.
So it must be Toblerone. That was hilarious. It's not a terrible nickname, I have to say.
No, it's not.
Actually, it was funny. I don't know if Tolbert would think it's funny, but I thought it was funny.
Yeah, Tolbert wasn't in this episode. I'm sure he'll be in the next one.
And I swear to you, as soon as I heard that, I was like, damn it, I wish I had a Toblerone right now. Those are good.
All right, so
probably as delicious as Tolbert. Just saying. I've been drinking some wine tonight. But actually, that wouldn't even matter. Anyway, continue.
No, exactly. So should we like go off on our suspect list? It's probably kind of the same as it's always been.
Yeah.
I still have like Loretta still definitely, Dickie still definitely. Right now that's it. I mean, I guess Tolbert is still on it, but he's low on my list right now.
Yeah.
So. What about you
I
guys?
think it could
Looking
still be
something up.
possible. Okay, so I agree. Yes, like Loretta clearly, Dickie clearly. But I have just this feeling that they're always trying to like throw us off.
Oh yeah.
And
I know.
I just feel like, maybe
Everybody that we say now might not even be.
everybody
Right.
is thrown
Right.
off by the true killer, right? So
Yeah.
like even Loretta is probably, I mean, what does it really prove? It proves that she was following her son, because the
Right.
scrapbook at the end
Yeah.
of the day was not of Ben, it was of her son, because
Right.
she gave up her birth son. And so like anybody probably would do that, like follow, if they gave
Yeah,
up
if you were able to and knew
Yeah.
what they were, then yeah, maybe.
I don't think that proves anything. I
No,
think it's possible that she even wrote fucking pig on the mirror because she
Right.
knows that he gave her birth son a hard time.
Right.
It
That
could
she
very
just didn't
well
like him because right.
it could very well still be Toblerone.
But
I'm just saying,
yeah.
Toblerone
No,
is
yeah,
still
it could be.
at the top of my list. I just think
Okay.
it might be. I always just feel like they're throwing us off. So
So do I.
agree.
I agree. I agree. I think that it's probably not Dickie or Loretta,
Yeah.
but
Although there's
from what they're showing.
Yeah. I still think that it could possibly be the now I can't remember his name, but the producer, the son.
The son.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
I
could
feel
see
like
that, or the mom too.
because I feel like the mom, when she was talking to Loretta
Yeah.
about like, you would do anything for your kid, and he's worked really hard for this, and
This is his first play.
like kind of like she would do anything to make him look good.
Right.
I don't know if killing Ben would make him look good, so to speak.
Well, maybe that would bring publicity to the play, and
But
more
yes,
people would want to watch it.
Reason. Exactly. It could be that. It could be, maybe, he wanted he didn't like Ben and he didn't care, so he wanted someone else on that role. So he it's fine that Ben's not in the picture anymore. Like
remember, it could.
And he's a little strange, so the mother could like. I feel like the mother could talk him into doing stuff, and he would go along with it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, remember, we have not seen Cinda Canning in a while.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't seen Cinda.
She could come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if she's coming back, but it would be kind of crazy if she came back.
Yeah.
That would be, she's probably with Tobert somewhere planning shit.
Does anybody know how many episodes we have left? I don't
know. I think at least 2, I would say.
Let me see if I can find out.
I
think usually it's like 10 episodes.
Yeah. So it's at least 2
more. Right? Yeah.
This is 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's getting juicy, guys. I mean, I just feel like this is so entertaining. We've all been...
we didn't even talk about, like, really quickly how like Howard wants to be kind of on the podcast and part of the crew, so to speak. And he was saying, oh, listen to this noise, and he put a piece of paper in the shredder. He said, this is the sound we heard, before, and there's probably something in here that's the killer shredded. And they took all the paper. They were trying to tape stuff. They were
trying to put it together
to try and see if they could find some clues, because he wants to be on the podcast and
He's
stuff.
So funny. He's so funny.
Howard. I mean, I don't know, but
it could also still be Jonathan, his lover.
Well, I'm saying
he could be trying to throw them off.
I'm saying Howard because
Jonathan.
I'm saying Howard because as a possibility, because he could have wanted Jonathan to have the lead role, because he's the understudy. So if Ben's out, Jonathan's in, right? And now he's trying to get in on the podcast because maybe he wants to just find out what they know so far, or what they have, like evidence, clues, whatever. And that's what he's trying to do. It It could be anything happen. So that's a big possibility. And he's been in this series from the beginning. So it could be somebody that's already been there from the start. Right. It doesn't have to be a new like cast member. True. It could easily be that. So that's a possibility too. He's like
honorable mention.
Honorable mention, yes. Asterisk on the side here. Possible.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree.
I'm so looking forward.
I'm totally I just feel like I'm still kind of like totally thrown by this. Because it could be anybody.
It's probably going to be someone.
We're 8 episodes in, and I still feel like we could be.
It's probably going to be someone we don't expect.
Yeah, or somebody that we did say, but it's not for the reasons we think.
Right, it's going to be
something strange like that. I'm telling you, this episode, I was on the train watching it, and I was like.
By this episode, I was like, is it ending the next episode? Because this sounds like it's it.
So I just checked, there's 10 episodes, it says. So we have 2 more.
So we have two more. I mean, they could do a lot in 2 episodes, so but it's definitely
they could do a lot in one. So
yeah, exactly. It's definitely getting to the end. You could tell we got that vibe here. So I'm so excited to see what happens, and I hope that they have some kind of cliffhanger, which alludes that they're going to have a season 4.
Right.
Because this show cannot go away.
I know. It's so good.
It's so
good. We need more.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this was a fantastic episode. Thanks for watching today again. As always, make sure you follow Horror Flick Chicks here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is where you're going to see all the videos of our podcast. And we are also streaming on a bunch of audio platforms. So make sure you search for us and follow and subscribe on those platforms as well. Also, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And we also on Threads. So make sure you find us, follow us, and interact with us. And let us know what you think about our podcast and give us suggestions, things like that. We love hearing from you guys. So make sure you follow and see what we have coming up next.
Yeah. And as always, let us know who's on your suspect list. We want to
let us know. Also, I just wanted to add that so as I mentioned earlier, the Gooseberry Theater is actually at the United Palace Theater uptown in New York City, Washington Heights, and they're actually having if anybody is interested, you can probably still get tickets to, they're having an event there for Only Murders in the Building. They're going to be creating like a crime scene in the theater.
Come on. Really?
Still get tickets to it. Yeah.
When is it?
It runs from September 22nd to the 24th. So there's a couple more days left for you to find out a little bit more. Just look it up online and I'm sure you'll find some more.
That's cool.
Yeah. Nice. Sounds cool, right?
If anybody,
it's also a beautiful theater. So, it'll be a nice little tour and like, it's a nice kickoff to your spooky season.
If anybody goes, please tag us in your posts or let us know. We would love to. Yeah, we would love to. We would love to see it because I don't know if we can make it, but
that's amazing.
We would love to see it.
That's smart.
That's awesome.
So smart.
Yeah, it is very smart.
New York, it's a hell of a town.
I know. This show keeps popping up with the surprises.
Yep. All right, guys. So we will see you next week. Make sure you follow us and stay invested, I guess, in our recaps. Awesome show. And we'll see you next time. As always, we're Sandra, Sonia, and Angie of the Horror Flick Chicks, and we're signing out. Peace, love, and horror.
Bye.
Bye.
That's the end.